So I hit got it. I can't hear you.
Mhm.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you good.
Good.
Just a minute. So, Congressman, we are going to start our conversation. The radio station will sign in shortly. I am happy to welcome our listening audience to the Delgado Report. It is a show where we talk about critical issues in our local community here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, in the Pine Belt area, as well as in our great state, in our nation, and in the world. You know, there are events that impact us everywhere. So the Delgado Report comes to you every Wednesday evening, and we talk about those things. Tonight, I have a very special guest, a good friend, a giant in the Pine Belt area, none other than former Congressman Ronnie Shows from right here in our district. Welcome, Congressman Shows.
Well, thank you, Councilwoman. I mean, it's a pleasure to be here. We tried to get this thing set up last time, and both our schedules are so crazy, but I'm so glad we're able to get together tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. I am just delighted to have you here. We have been talking about some critical issues in our going on in our country that we need to talk about. But
Sure.
first, many of the persons in my audience don't know the great Ronnie Shows that I know.
Well, I
So,
don't know if they're missing that much. They got you. They don't really need me.
oh no. Look, we've come a long way. I I want to give our listening audience a little bit of information on who we're talking to this evening. Congressman,
Okay, well,
uh,
sure.
let's start at the very beginning of your political career. Let's talk about you and how
Well,
you got onto this stage.
that's at least a couple weeks ago, right?
Okay, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
No, I tell you, I was raised in Moselle. Everybody thinks I'm from Bassfield.
Okay.
And I went to a little community college in Laurel. It was a Baptist school on a basketball scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
It just so happens Johnny Ruth, my wife, was going to. She lost her husband, and she dropped out of school to get married and had a wonderful marriage for 9 years and have
Mm-hmm.
three healthy boys all over the place. And she
Mm-hmm.
was left widowed.
Mm-hmm.
And and the her parents said, "Look, you get your GED and then go to that little Southeastern Baptist college,
Mm-hmm.
and you just got to get ready to make your own career."
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, we got up there and doggone, she was a cheerleader.
Okay.
That didn't hurt nothing, did
No, I was a
it?
cheerleader in another life. It didn't hurt anything. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And anyway, I was playing ball, and she had three children,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Bobby, Joe, and Landell.
Mm-hmm.
Then 2 years later, we had Rhonda, and that's ours together.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got grandkids, I've got great grandkids, I got great great grandkids,
Okay.
and so I know I have experience with kids.
Okay.
And,
All right.
but anyway, we got married. We've been married 56 years. Uh,
Wow.
we've been married 56 years and moved one time. I don't believe in moving. We lived at Bassfield for 43 years. All my political career started at Bassfield, and the Black community put me there.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea. People always want to know, well, how'd you get? And I guarantee people ask you, how'd you get in politics? Because they
Yeah.
ask me that all the time. And I was
Mm-hmm.
a basketball coach, and politics was the furthest thing from. I mean, I would vote and all that kind of stuff, but I just never thought about it. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I was living in there about 7 or 8 years, and my father-in-law loved to hunt
Mm-hmm.
birds, quail. I loved to hunt, quail hunt, used to.
Mm-hmm.
And one day we got through, and we came in, and Granny, that's his wife, and she always fried the quail, and we had syrup and biscuit and fried quail for lunch.
Okay.
Anyway, I was taking a little nap, and I said, "Well, I got to go get me some shells."
Mm-hmm.
Shotgun. He said, "Okay." I started to walk out, and he said, "Son, what do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Son, we want you to run for circuit clerk in Jeff Davis County." I
Mm-hmm.
said, "What is this? What does a circuit clerk do?" And he says, "Nothing." I said, "Well, I know the issue marriage license."
Mm-hmm.
Well, he talked to me. He said, "Really, I want you to think about it." Oh, I said, "Okay," so I said, "Well, let me go get my shells." So I get in the car. They had to have this planned. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I don't get down the road a quarter of a mile. We live on a dead end road called McNeese Lane. He's a McNeese. And Eiley McNeese flags me down. He was
Mm-hmm.
an old grader operator. He passed by our house about once a week on that motor grader, but Eiley was a great old gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
And I got out and went around. I said, "Mr. Eiley, how you doing?" He said, "I'm doing fine, son. What you going to do?" I said, "What are you talking about, son? We want you to run for circuit clerk. We're tired of apprentice running this county." And
Mm-hmm.
besides that, he won't register blacks. I said,
Mm-hmm.
"You gotta be kidding." He said, "No." He said, "Son, we need you. We need you." I said, well, Allie, I appreciate it. So I got my car and I said, Dadgum. So I
Mm-hmm.
get a Pete Gates store where I'm going to buy the shells.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm checking out. And Pete said, come over here, Ronnie. I need to talk to you. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, let me guess, you mean Ronnie? He said, we darn sure do want you, Ronnie. He said, Ronnie, we got so many civil rights lawsuits against Jeff Davis County. This guy refused to register black folks. And this was in 1975.
Okay. Okay.
He just rolled the dice and hope, but they had so many lawsuits against us. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, let me think about it, Pete. So I go back home and call my dad, and he said, well, hell, son, how much you making as teaching coaching? I said, $450 a month. And that's true.
Uh-huh.
And but I wanted to try something new. I love basketball, but I didn't really enjoy teaching. But
Mm-hmm.
I love basketball. That's my game. And
Mm-hmm.
so anyway, I got home and talked to John Reach. He said, well, now Daddy's well politically connected. So we just got in there and beat that incumbent by a pretty substantial amount of money. And I didn't know a quarter of the people in the county, but that shows you how bad a candidate he was. And
Yeah.
nobody's ever challenged him. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I kept that job for 4 years. The problem with that job is I beat the supervisor's buddy. So
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't help my office out nothing. I told my
Oh.
wife, I'm going to run for something where they have to come to me ask for a pay raise.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ran for state senate and
Oh.
beat an incumbent named Ike Sanford. Some of the older folks might have heard of Ike Sanford. They named the building after him in Jackson and had an Ike Sanford Day at JCJC. But you
Okay.
never know how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
When it does and it grabs you, it gets in your blood.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ran for the state senate in 1980 and beat that incumbent.
Mm-hmm.
And I was lucky enough to vote for the Education Reform Act under it gave us public kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
We just did a lot of things in that first year, 1980. Then I got reelected unopposed, and no, I had a guy named J.T. Waters. He was a big trucking guy, and he decided, man, he spent 40 grand, and I beat him 15,000 votes. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, and the last time I ran, the third time under Ray Mabus, uh, uh, I didn't have an opponent for the first time. And I told my wife, well, I'm going to stick it out, but next 4 years, I'm either going to run for something that I can actually pay my bills and do something,
Mm-hmm.
or just get out.
Yeah.
And so anyway, just as, you know, in God's hands, I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
Bob Joyner got indicted, the
Mm-hmm.
highway commissioner. Everybody remembers Bob Joyner. He was a piece of work, let's say.
Okay.
And so anyway, I kept that job 10 years and worked my butt off, to tell you the truth. And then at 19, I always wanted to be back in the legislative because I loved the legislature. I was just
Mm.
starving to death.
Okay.
So
Okay.
anyway, you can relate, like being an alderwoman.
Okay. Okay.
And so I just said, I'm going to run for Congress.
Mm-hmm.
And redistricting took me out of office, but redistricting and what happened,
Mm-hmm.
that congressional map included
Mm-hmm.
half of Jones County, where I was born and raised,
Mm-hmm.
County, and all of Jeff Davis County. And I had relatives in all of them. But
Mm.
to tell you the truth, I got in that runoff by 200 votes, and then I beat him 1,000 votes in
Wow.
the and so when I ran for Congress, you might as well say it was the same thing. I decided I want to do something more important in highways, and that's being in Congress. And I beat there was 12 candidates. There were 9 Republicans.
Wow.
And they eat each other up. I'm telling you, them some guns can't stand each other.
Okay.
And I had 2 great opponents, but I came out of the primary. Joyce Arsenault was in that primary with me as a Democrat. And then, do you know
Oh,
Joyce?
yes, I know it well.
Oh, we're the best of friends. I try not to make enemies when you run because
Yeah.
you got to come around and ask them. And Joyce and then I ended up in a black attorney that handled the heirs case. I can't remember him. But anyway, I did win that race. And then, of course, I went to see Congressman Thompson and asked him all the help he could give me.
Was
But
that Chambers?
Huh?
Was that Al Chambers?
I don't know. It's just so,
Oh,
it's been so long ago.
all right.
But I was blessed, but I've always, I never forgot who put me in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a white Republican. And
Okay.
I closely, very close with the churches. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the preachers, I mean, the deacons there, they'd be working those poles. And, I mean, I'd go there and I said, I can't believe. And they were so organized.
Mm-hmm.
Today, it's totally opposite.
Yeah, yeah.
For some reason, the churches and leadership in the churches don't want to do it. And I think that's the reason you have a fallout of voter turnout, because the church is the soul of the community.
Absolutely. Well, I have some ideas about that, but we'll talk about that later. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, that's how I got there. And we have three kids, and like I said, all kind of grandkids and great grandkids, and I love the job. But they drew me out. They couldn't beat me. I beat our lieutenant governor by 8 points, Delbert. We
Yeah,
called him Dilbert.
yeah.
We beat him by 8 points,
Mm-hmm.
and then I ran for, I mean, that was it. And then I beat the next Republican by 20 points when they so they drew me out.
Okay.
And
So,
Amy,
what
yeah,
was your district? What was your district?
the fourth congressional district.
Okay, the fourth congressional district.
See,
Okay.
at that time, we had three Democrats and two Republicans, Chip and Roger.
Mm-hmm.
It was me, Gene Taylor, and Benny Thompson.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then when Fordyce is one that really cheated the state.
Yeah.
Fordyce was an idiot.
Okay.
He was an idiot. And
Okay.
he's a Donald Trump. And and he could not stand the federal government. So when the census comes around every 10 years.
Yeah.
And so so what happened when the feds came into Mississippi, usually the governor has a special person handle census, and the feds has a representative come down to work with him.
Mm-hmm.
Fordyce would not let his person even talk to the federal.
Wow.
Wouldn't even let him talk. We
Okay.
lost my seat to to the census because of 20,000 people in Mississippi. We
Wow.
had whole supervisors districts that did not get a census form.
Mm.
So
Wow.
so the reason we've gone from 5 to 3 or
Mm-hmm.
4
Mm-hmm.
is because of Kirk Fordyce and that idiot thing he wanted to do. I
Mm-hmm.
put in the same category as Tate Reeves myself, Tater Tot. I
Well,
don't have that for him.
it is so important that we make sure that our communities know the importance of redistricting, of the census, of being counted, all of that, because we lose so much. We do when we don't participate. When we don't.
Well, I'm going to teach a class on redistricting at Ollie's in the next couple of weeks.
Good.
I can give it from the first, but I'll give you an example. All the problems we're having today
Mm-hmm.
is because of redistricting. And the problem is, senators run statewide.
Mm-hmm.
But once you control the House and Senate and the state legislature,
Mm-hmm.
Councilwoman, in 1980, when Percy Watts and I were freshmen, you know how many Republicans was in the state house out of 122?
How many?
Two.
Really?
Two.
Oh my
And
God.
now we have a super majority. They do not need one Democrat to help them pass the bill. That's the reason you got all this crap going up here now.
Yeah.
Person can't stop it.
Yeah.
When they get ready, they don't even have to invite them to the committee meetings. I mean, they're going to do what they want to do, and that's what they've been doing. That's the reason you don't have no early voting. That's the reason you don't have no Medicaid expansion. That's the reason we don't have early childhood money. That's the reason we're in the dump we're in now, because our people. I don't want to say it's organized who get them. The people you would think would take the biggest responsibility of help getting that vote out would be your religious facilities.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a day gone by. All I can tell you, I'm telling you, my people in Jeff Davis County, they turned out every time. I never lost a precinct after I won it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love Jeff Davis County.
Mm-hmm.
But But redistricting is what? And what happens when you get a state lopsided like us, then when they draw these, when they draw every 10 years,
Mhm.
your, your census map is drawn. And so you know how many African Americans in this group and this group, and what they do, whoever controls that House and Senate,
Mhm.
who they want to vote for them. So they put all the black votes in Congressman Thompson's office or somebody else. When they wanted to beat me, when they
Mhm.
beat me, they took it and gave it to Gene Taylor and Congressman Thompson. And the
Mhm.
district they left me,
Mhm.
hell, nobody knew me. I had 35%, and a lot of them, the black communities took it on my district. So I had to run in a 65% district that nobody knew me, all the way up to Starkville.
Oh
And,
my goodness. My goodness. Well,
and
you know,
so it's tough. It's
the
tough.
same the same thing is true in the city of Hattiesburg
That's
without
right. Yeah. Yeah.
because we have a majority black city and
Hmm.
have we have 5 city council people, and the
Hmm.
majority of the black people in this entire city are placed in wards 2 and 5. That's where you have elected black representation. Nick, in Ward Nicholas Brown in Ward 5, and I'm Ward 2. But that's because every time a redistricting rolls around, the Republicans are in charge and
They
have the
charge.
majority to maintain the status quo. And
Yeah.
they fix those districts so that it's not a possibility of being able to win. It's not a winnable district for the
It's
most
not a
part.
win. And we're stuck like
So
this.
we've got to work against them. We've got to work against that reality.
Yeah.
Every time districting comes around, it just breaks my soul, breaks my
Yeah.
spirit.
Well, it does me too, because you're seeing all these hard right idiots who get
Mhm.
up there and all they want to talk about is woke. They don't want to teach history. They don't want to teach black history. They don't want to teach Indian history. They won't make like the white guys, the gate savior that saved this country. And it was the working people who saved this country,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
African Americans and Chinese and the immigrants who made the country.
Yeah.
And so the truth is, if we don't get enough legislators elected that are Democrat, we're going to
Mm.
be like this for the rest and it's only going to get worse. It's
Oh,
only going to get worse because I guarantee you they'll eventually pass where public funds will go to the private school.
right. Well,
It's going to happen, and then our private schools are going to be deprived.
okay. Well, speaking of electing Democrats,
Hmm.
we're in the thick of things right now. So
Absolutely.
let's talk about the November 5th election that's coming up. What
Man,
what, what you think? We have until what, October 7th to register
register voters.
in the November 5th presidential election. So those of you who are in the listening audience who are not registered to vote, let's get registered. If you've moved since the last time that you registered, let's get registered. Everybody in your household needs to be registered to vote to participate in this historic election that's coming up. Congressman Shows, give us your thoughts about it.
Well, the problem is if we don't turn out, you'll never have early voting. If you don't turn out, we're always going to have Roger Dodger as a senator instead of our friend Ty
Mhm.
Pinkins. If you don't turn out and vote, you're going to have the best shot we ever had of electing a woman and a minority woman.
Mhm.
This is our shot.
Mhm.
So any of the women out there that's complaining and they're not voting, quit complaining because you have no right.
Mhm.
And men who are, oh, I'm not doing this. Well, that's okay. Just do without. Let your kids do without. Because that's what's happening. You're sitting back there and blaming everybody but the one you need to blame. Look in the mirror.
Mhm.
If we turn out, we win. That's what Harris says. If we turn out, we win. There's no way they can overcome the number of votes we have out here if we turn out and go and have a single mind purpose. And
Mhm.
it's not that we hate Republicans. We just hate the issues that they want to press,
Mhm.
which represses our community, the
Mhm.
poor whites and black. And,
Mhm.
and they don't seem to care. They don't seem to care about people dying without expanding Medicare. They don't seem to care, but our kids can't afford to go in colleges now because they cost so much. We got one of the highest tuitions in the country going to try to go to Southern in our major colleges and our community colleges. And so everything that what controls your life is government. What controls what you do is the government that you elect to represent you. And when you're not doing that, you just put another load on your kids and your grandkids and your great grandkids. And that's what we're facing. That's what we're facing. And with Trump, it'll take us 100 years to get over Trump. If he gets elected, and that idiot J.D. Vance, can you imagine? We thought Chris McDaniels was bad. The problem with J.D., he's a lot smarter than McDaniels. And you're going to be fighting. And look, and I'll tell you what he's going to do. I mean, this is well known. Any, cabinet members for the president and the secretaries and cabinet members, they're supposed to be separate from in other words, they're supposed to be arm's length between the state, U.S. Attorney General and the president. The president is supposed to mingle with that. But every appointment he's going to make, they have to swear allegiance to Donald Trump. Well, what do you think that's going to be? He's going to get the worst kind of heck. Half the people he's got around him have either been sentenced to jail or we could come out of jail on pardon. And you tell me that we want to live under this thing? And I'm telling you, once he gets that power, well, look what he's done with the Supreme Court and pro-choice, woman's right to decide her own life. And this thing is such an important thing. Chris McDaniels is just a blow off in the wind. But if they win this, if J.D. Vance and Trump win this race, and I guarantee you, Trump, I don't know if he'll live through another 4 years. Then we got J.D. because who's ever in that seat's going to win that election next time. You're just not looking at the next 4 years. You're looking at the next 8 years.
Absolutely. So how do we keep that from happening? What do we need to do in Mississippi?
Well, right now, what we need to do is just get out to vote. Go to your churches, go to your deacons, go to your. I find the real workers in this world are women when it comes to campaigning.
Yeah.
And you have more females that vote than males. And we got this 10 or 12% African American community that they say they're for Trump. I ain't figured that out yet.
I haven't either.
It must be a macho thing or something. I don't know, but I don't think he's that macho. I mean, but anyway, it is what it is. But we can still win. If all we lose is 10%, we're good. We just got to get the people out, and all minorities, whether Hispanic, Indian, or whatever it is. We just got to get. It's a very simple thing. It's like Clinton said. It's arithmetic. It ain't hard to figure out. We got the numbers because you got enough whites, and they certainly got. I mean, we have 40% of our voting population is almost 40% of the state.
Yeah,
we don't even need to register new voters. If our voters who are on the rolls would just vote, we win.
Absolutely.
So, and thanks to Taylor Swift, we got 500,000 people that's already voted, already registered since she did, and this other lady's got 116,000. I can't remember all these pop stars anymore.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are trying to help us, but the only one that can help us is your determination to get up and get out and encourage people to vote. If you know somebody that's not registered, encourage them to get registered. You can't tell them. When you tell them something, they get mad, and some people are very offensive about it. Well, what's it going to do for me? Or I don't do that. Well, just don't doing that. You'll get to still keep sweeping floors.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Keep sweeping floors and washing dishes.
Yeah.
Which is nothing wrong with that. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
Might be the guy that won't vote. That's what happens. That's what happens. So right now, I know I'm vice chair of the Lamar County Democratic Committee, and we got Cora Rogers. You know Cora from Lumberton. Cora's my dear friend, and
Yeah.
she's chairman, and we're going to have a deal for Ty Pinkins and Harris on September the 28th at
Mhm.
Lumberton.
Mhm.
And we're going to do it at her daycare center, and we're going to have stuff for the kids and all that. So if you ain't got nothing to do, drop on over to us about 5 o'clock, and Ty will be there about 6 or 6:30, and he'll make some comments, and we're going to have some giveaway stuff, and we're going to have raffles, and we got Blue Jazz Cafe fixing the food. We're going to have pulled pork and pulled chicken sandwiches and baked beans and coleslaw. And we're asking for a donation of $15.
Mhm.
And that's pretty cheap for that kind of meal. We're about breaking even, but we want to get people there to get registered.
Yes. Yes.
The biggest thing that we find right now is finding enough signs
Mhm.
to people.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
had a gentleman that donated 100 signs to us for Lamar County, and we're getting those out now in the Lamar County area. And I know that Mayor Dupree bought 30, and I know the Forest County bought 100, I think. So you got a few signs, but that's not nearly enough. We know.
It's not. And
And
I've requested some, and I'm waiting to get a response. So we'll see. We'll see.
who'd you put your request into?
My labor unions, because labor unions do the labor unions that I've contacted are support Democratic candidates. So
How about
hopefully,
CWA? Have you tried them? Are they going to get you some
I,
signs?
I have not tried CWA. Mm-mm. Not,
Well, if
but they
you,
probably do have some. I will check with them.
yeah, I would. Uh, yeah, all you need except for Teamsters. Teamsters have just turned pure Republican, I believe. They're not going to endorse Harris.
Well, they're not happy. They're not happy with some of the things that the Republican candidate has been saying recently. So I don't know. I don't know. Let
Well,
let
they did. Go ahead.
let's get back to what we can do in our home communities to get people out to vote.
Well, I tell you this. You can take two or three people, and if you'll call your county chair,
Mhm.
they'll show you how you can get a phone bank going, and
Right,
they can set you up where you can be a phone bank. And
right,
it's not a big deal. I mean, you just get most people are not, you won't be calling anybody but Democrats. Once in a while you get a crazy Republican that goes out of, but the van list is a list that is supposed to be leaning Democrats that you talk to.
right.
And uh, and they'll get that, and they'll show you how to do it, and just call on that phone. And at the day of the election, go door to door and ask them, do they need a ride?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
Everybody, because
yeah, I mean it's all hands on deck because that's how important it is.
this is
And
the most important election of our lifetime. It really is. It really is
I
because
agree.
we
I
can
agree.
significant change in this country if we all turn out to vote.
Well,
Seriously.
let me tell you what's so dangerous about these guys. The reason these Supreme Court judges, Robinson and Alito and Thomas, they're what they call federalists. You know what a federalist is?
Explain it to the audience.
All right. The Federalist is back during Thomas Jefferson, they wanted the president to have almost absolute power.
Mm-hmm.
And 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 you don't hear that much about them because they stay under the cover, but there's thousands of them, hundreds of them in DC. And
Mm-hmm.
they've been working towards this agenda. You have this thing called 2025. Have you
Yeah,
heard about that?
yes.
Man, you talking about woke kids. I mean, there's nothing will be the same if they get that. And basically, you're putting church into politics.
Mm-hmm.
And, and religious freedom, you can forget about that because they want everybody to be one. And this country's not one. We're not all Christians. You got you got you just got Mormons, you got Indians, you got Hindu, you got Muslim. That's the way our country's made.
Mm-hmm.
You got gays, you got I mean lesbian, it don't matter. It's not our business. It's
Mm-hmm.
like Walt says, keep out of my damn business.
Yeah,
Walt's a vice president.
right. That's
Uh,
right.
it's just a thing to hurt you to see so bad.
Mm-hmm.
People just don't think it's going to make any difference. Well, if it didn't, you'd have insurance right now.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, they say it don't make no difference, but you can vote early if it was the right people in charge. What's
Mm-hmm.
wrong with people getting out and vote? I tell you why, and I'll give you my thinking about this thing. Obama when he got elected, the Republican leadership never thought an African American would get elected. But you know what?
Right.
He was a lot smarter than they are.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
he didn't scare people, didn't intimidate people. He's so intelligent.
Mhm.
And that shook him up. And that's where they started this movement to get control under one leader
Mhm.
and have everybody answer to the president.
Mhm.
Kiss the ring, you might say. And that's what we're facing. If you don't think Donald Trump will do it, and he may not last but 2 or 3 years, but they got all their people in place. Just think if you get another Supreme Court judge appointed, how it's going to be.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. And people say, oh, it don't matter. It's going to be the same.
Oh, it
It'll be
matters.
the same for your kids. We got climate change. We got so many issues that we could do so much for. We got a new economy with this solar. I mean, there's just so much money being spent. And all this money that you see in Hattiesburg doing, Joe Biden, a lot of the money. We
But
got
but
billions.
you do know that our Republican delegation takes
Did not vote for it.
those that voted against it.
They
And not
voted.
that these
Well, that's
voted against it and come down here and take credit for it and pose for these pictures like, like they've done this stuff.
Well, the highway department's sitting on a couple, $2 or $3 billion doing projects now, and the municipalities you got down. Look at all the work that's going in. If it weren't for Joe Biden, they said Joe Biden. Joe passed more legislation
Mhm.
in that 1 year with a minority House, Republican control, and still passed more legislation since FDR.
Absolutely.
And I'm talking about billions and billions, and it's just like this solar. A black farmer now, if you got land that's flat and 80 or 90 acres, you can lease it to some people for $400,000 up
Mhm.
front and still keep your land.
Mhm.
That's what's out there. But I
Mhm.
guarantee you, if we don't get this, you can kiss that baby goodbye.
Mhm.
It's a goodbye. And
Mhm.
it's just like what just hacks me off. The public service commissioners have ruled that if you want to do solar, you can only do so much. In other words, they won't let you take care of your bill through the solar. They won't allow that.
Mhm.
I tell you, the utilities, and especially your co-ops, have
Mhm.
more power than anybody. They can keep you, if they wanted to and had such a mind, they could keep you from all. But right now, you could cut your utility bill 50, 60% right now. And probably almost get it if you're underserved. There's tons of programs for people who don't meet certain levels as income. They qualify. It's
Mhm.
there. It's just like all these roads and bridges. It's there.
Mhm.
And they're all the only one that voted for any of Biden's issues as far as construction and highways was
Mhm.
Robert Wicker. He's the
Mhm.
only one that voted for it. Besides that, it was Benny Thompson voted for every one of them.
Mhm. Really
And
does.
Benny stands tall for Mississippi, I'll tell you.
I'm
Congressman Thompson.
he's all we got.
He's
Seriously.
all we got. I mean, we had a fundraiser down here about a year and a half ago, and that place was packed out. We raised a ton of money for him. He said, Ronnie, I can't believe all the enthusiasm. I said, Congressman, you're the only hero we got as a politician, except Percy, our local, and you guys. I mean,
Mhm.
somebody on his scale. And
Mhm.
we just did great. He couldn't believe it. He sat there. He stayed there 3 hours and still
Mhm.
had to drive back to Bolton, Mississippi. He was so happy with it. So we're
Mhm.
in a good place in Congressman Thompson's heart, man. He loves Hattiesburg.
Yeah, yeah, he's a good man. He's a good
But
man.
yeah, and he really thinks a lot of this area, and Brandon Presley does. I mean, he said, "Man, you guys flipped me." I said, "Well, it wasn't me. It was some the people on the ground. A lot of people work door to door. I
Right.
mean, I was just one of the hundreds out there trying to do what we can do.
Well,
But
I
if go
increase
ahead,
turnout. I want us to increase our turnout in all these counties, especially as far as are all of them. We need to increase our turnout so that we can, we should be able to turn Mississippi blue. I really do believe that. I know
yeah,
it's an impossibility, but I don't think so. I think if we get out and push it and really focus on turning out the vote, we can do that. We can
Yeah.
one
Well,
vote.
the woman, you could just take your neighborhood there and get with the folks you know is good
Right.
and want to vote, and you guys could put your own deal together about getting people ready. Your own neighbors, just say hi to your neighbors. Are you gonna vote? Every time I go somewhere, I ask, "You gonna vote, aren't you?" Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm gonna vote. Now a lot of people say that and don't vote.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
been that way too, but
they do.
that's okay. I do think that we have the votes. If we get the Obama turnout, if you get Obama's turnout,
Mm-hmm.
people are going to be shocked.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't. I tell you what happened. I'll tell you in Brandon's race in
Mm-hmm.
LaPorte County, Joe Biden got 8,700 votes. Brandon Presley got 5,000 votes.
Mm-hmm.
3,000 people, Democrats, who did not vote.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it's been going. And like I said, it has a lot to do without our religious leaders. Now, and I'm not saying they have to get involved, just assign some of your people that do all the work for you anyway, and say, let's get out and organize our community. You don't have to have a big deal in church. You can have this in your auxiliary place. I mean, there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
But there's something else going on there, and we'll talk about that later.
There is,
Don't get them all mad at me.
we can't be a single issue community. There's so
Ah, mm-mm.
that are involved, because if you say that you are pro-life and anti-abortion, but then when the child is born, you don't want to allocate resources that are going to help take care of that child, you're not pro-life. Uh,
No, no, you're
You're,
not pro-life.
you're not supporting the
Well,
development of that child. And
well, I'm pro-life, and you are too, but I think it's a woman's decision.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And and the problem is, when I was in office, I couldn't make that vote because I would never be in there. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one reason people said, "Why don't you run again?" Of course, I'm too old now, because I'm tired of being a Democrat that has to vote for some of them stupid bills like, you
Yeah,
know, all the NRA crap and all that. I'm fed up with them,
yeah.
and I will not. I refuse to run again
Mm-hmm.
because of that stuff there. Why would I want to be that right wing? Just be a Republican then.
Yeah, yeah.
And I did what I had to do to win as somebody, but I always voted, I thought, for the right things, but I was still too conservative from my own point of view. But
Absolutely, absolutely.
you want to get reelected where you can do some good things. But
Mm-hmm.
right now, I just don't feel like playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a lot of Republicans. They can't stand Trump. They
Yeah.
can't stand. You'd be surprised up there. The ones that's got some sense, they can't stand him.
Mm-hmm.
You can't stand them. I
But
don't know any good man that would,
but why are they being silent? Why are they just going along with it? That's what I don't
because they won't win their primary.
understand.
They won't win their primary.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it took me 20 years to get enough name ID to run for Congress.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I started slowly. The problem with a lot of our candidates today, and Ty's an example, Shawaski was another example. They haven't lived in the state for years. They come here and run statewide. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I think Ty has worked his butt off the last 3 years, so he's going to have some name ID. But
Mm-hmm.
you're still going to have a majority of African Americans don't know who Ty Pinkins is,
Mm-hmm.
and he's definitely capable of having that job. His
Absolutely.
his biggest problem is name ID,
Mm-hmm.
and but I'm voting for him and helping him. We're going to help him have a fundraiser too.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
hmm And
Well,
that's on the 28th of September.
it,
Anybody interested?
okay. Well, that is the same day as the Mobile Street Festival.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the same day. The Mobile Street Festival is the 27th and
Well, when
28th.
they get through at Mobile, let them come over to us.
I think it's gonna come, but I'm going to kind of segue into talking about the Mobile Street Festival, because there'll be candidates there
Oh
who will have
yeah.
to speak from our gospel stage as well as our blues stage.
hmm
If they have a booth for the festival, then that they are permitted to speak from our gospel stage, which is from 9 a.m. until 2:30 p.m., or from our blues stage, which is 4 p.m. to 8:45 p.m.
Okay.
So be a big day of a lot of activities, a lot of family entertainment. We have a children's village. We have just on, and so we want people to come out and support the festival. We start the festival off on Friday with a kick party that starts at 5:30, as we've done for many years at Max Cafe on the corner of Fifth and Mobile Streets. It's a historic business. It was there before I was born, believe it or not.
What's the name of the business?
Max Cafe. Max Cafe.
Where's it at?
On the corner of Fifth and Mobile. It's on Mobile and Fifth. And the family has had that business and run that business on that property for many years, many generations of them.
I'll be doggone.
They start the festival off at that time. This year we have something new. We're bringing in a faith-based play called "If You Love Me," and it's going to be held at the historic Sanger Theater. The doors open at 6:15. The play starts at 7. Tickets in advance are $20. At the door, $5, and it's a faith-based play. So we sent packets of tickets and information to all of the churches, and we also have them available for purchase at 601 East Pine Street, which is the office of Twin Forks Rising Community Development Corporation. Now, Twin Forks Rising puts on the Mobile Street Festival. And we celebrate the rich heritage, the rich entertainment history and business history. It was a Black business and entertainment district in Hattiesburg during segregation.
Yeah.
We celebrate that heritage and the arts and all every year. And this is our 19th year of doing it. We really want people to come out and participate in it. We have food competitions. We have a pound cake competition, sweet potato pie competition, and an event that we call the Show Enough Good Barbecue Cook-Off. Now, in the pound cake competition, the winner gets $300. Second place gets $100. Third place, $50. Sweet potato pie, the winner gets $300. Second place, $100. Third place, $50. In the Good Barbecue competition, we have 2 areas of competition, either chicken or ribs. In the chicken category, the winner gets $1,000. The place is $500. Third place is $250. In the ribs category, the winner gets $1,000. Second place, $500. Third place, $250. So all activities are open for entering. You can get an application to participate in those activities by stopping by 601 East Pine Street at the offices of Twin Forks Rising Community Development Corporation, or give us a call at 601-818-5588. So it's a lot to do in our community the last weekend of September, and we really want to see you out there. We have a lot of great entertainment planned for you. We have the Children's Village, which is really shared by Hattiesburg Public School District, and we have their arts and some of their sports activities are displayed in that Children's Village, and it operates all day, beginning at 8 o'clock, and we go into 5 o'clock in the evening. There's something for your child to do all day. The Arts Commission, the local Arts Commission, has classes and entertainment opportunities for children during the Children's Village as well. So we got a lot planned for you. And if you want to you want to be a vendor, we still have opportunities for vending available. You can get the vendor application at the same place, 601 East Pine Street, or by giving us a call at 601-818-5588. I think it's going to be a great weekend, a lot of activities, A lot of political deliveries will be made from our stages, from our gospel stage in the morning and from our blues stage in the evening. So
What time with the political speak? Because see, Ty is coming to ours around 6:30 or 7 o'clock, and I imagine he'll be heading over there with
I'm
you guys.
I'm not sure, but he'll probably come up during the day because
Yeah,
the gospel stage is 9 a.m. to 2
that'd be
p.m.
a good. That'd be great.
And then the blues stage starts at 4 and it closes at 8:45. So I'm sure he'll come early to
Yeah, yeah. Well, I hope he does. When you're campaigning like that, I have never run statewide, but I run pretty close to it.
yeah,
And it's hard to, you get stretched so thin, and then when you don't go, and people get mad, but you're only one person. You're only
absolutely.
one person. So
But
people have to be patient.
any candidate who's running for political office, if you get a booth at the festival, then you are free to speak from one of our stages if you choose. Okay, so
Right.
just any person that's seeking political office can do that, and it doesn't just have to be during this election. Next year we have the municipal election, so some of candidates for
That's what we got to do. We got to
yeah,
get that municipal elections because that's where we get our farm lead. That's the
yeah,
people who grew up running for Congress one day, but they worked their way up.
absolutely, absolutely. So, Congressman Shows, I so appreciate you joining us here today on the Delgado Report. This has just been wonderful. Do you have any last minute messages that you'd like to pass on to our audience?
Well, I tell you, when you go to bed tonight and you're praying, pray
Mhm.
for this election.
Absolutely. Pray
I
for
mean, this really, what else can say that right now I'm losing sleep because I'm so worried about what's happening.
I know, I
And
know.
not just for my family. I'm thinking about the future. I'm thinking about our kids. I'm
Yeah,
thinking about our grandkids. And
absolutely.
and if you don't think it doesn't make a difference, look what we got living in now. And it's only going to get worse.
That's right. That's right.
It's just going to get worse and worse because when you lose political power, you're gone.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you can be mad and all this kind of stuff, and all you have to do, the Damers and people, the Evers and people like it died so you could vote.
absolutely.
And now it's just like, ah, it doesn't matter. Yes,
Mm,
it does, man. I
yeah,
would just say, when you go to sleep tonight, pray for this election and pray for our candidates
right.
and pray that
Yes,
his will be done.
yes,
That's what I say.
yes.
And we love all you guys, and you sure supported me a lot of times. I haven't ran in Forest County, but one time when I was highway commissioner. But I appreciate every one of you.
All
And
right.
I'm running, so yeah, I'm not saying that for politics, but I mean it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
And I want to thank our listening audience for tuning in to the Delgado Report. Join us next Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. for the Delgado Report. Good night.
Good night, and thank you. Thank you. All right, bye bye.